DDP Yoga is taking off without Shark Tank. So it's just going to add to the hype of everything that we're doing, because what we're doing is real. And what we brought on was a server company. So we have 20 different servers at any given time that'll pick up the traffic.
Wow.
We're actually going to film it and do it, like, we're going to put it up on our YouTube account live so people can watch it happen.
Oh, that's cool, man. Did you record this yesterday?
Cool.
Was this yesterday you did this?
Well, Shark Tank I did about 3 months ago.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, they put all of their shows together well ahead of time.
Right.
And what they tell you is that you may not get on.
Right.
You may not. It may literally. You may literally, it doesn't matter if you get picked up, meaning if you get a deal or you don't get a deal, you still, even though you've already filmed it, you still might not air.
Right. Right.
So, that all being said, we had no idea till right before the whole outcome laid out that we were going to be on. And what was really cool was that I guess the Olympics, they weren't running live. They weren't running live shows, or I should say live tape shows over the Olympics. So they were showing reruns over that period, I guess, because there were so many people were, on the Olympics, So they were showing reruns over that period. And every week they ended with who will be on next week. What they really meant to say was who's going to be on the next live show,
Right.
which was us. So we got like 3 commercials along with the other people who were on that show. And it was really smart marketing by them because, you know who the sharks are, but nobody knows who are the people going into the tank. None of those people pretty much have any sort of television time, but, Diamond Dallas Page does.
Right.
And, so it was really smart marketing of them waiting for our show to come on here on February 21st, which is Friday. And it'll be at 9 o'clock at night. We're having a big party over my house. And nobody knows what happened except for me and my business partners.
Right.
And, it's going to be fun to watch the reaction of everything and what gets said. We're taping it. And we're gonna have a good time with it. We had a great time. I love the show.
Yeah.
So, my main, I won the minute I walked out there and got accepted, and they decided they were going to play the show because my main objective was to get on the show because I love the show, and I still love the show. But, it's like when you're out there, talking about your product, I mean, you're on mainstream television. It's going to get played a lot of different times at the prime time. And let's say we get 8 minutes. Do you know how much it would cost to be on ABC for 8 minutes at 9 at night?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, I couldn't afford that. My company can't afford that.
Right. And it's
some of the advertisers for the show itself that came on after you or in between your segment and the next segment probably paid more,
No, they paid. Thousands of dollars.
Right.
Exactly.
National. I know what it costs to film. Like, we're testing our documentary. I'm not calling it an infomercial because literally it's there to inspire people. And we're not going, hey, look at my abs.
Right.
My documentary. We're going, hey, look at my life.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's how many lives DDP Yoga has transformed. And, people, whenever I get to the end, but I'll say it right here too, people say, so, DDP, how do we get to, DDPyoga.com? Is that where people want to go to, to get the product? And I was like, you know what? Don't even listen to me. Go on Twitter right now. Go to at Real DDP or at DDP Yoga. Read what people are writing.
Right.
Some of them I know because I'm on Twitter all the time, but most of them I have no idea. Go to Facebook, one word, DDP, YOGA. I made it all one word on Facebook. You will not believe what people write.
Oh, yeah.
It's changing lives. DDP Yoga is changing lives on a whole different level. And the exposure on Shark Tank is going to be priceless.
Right. That's unbelievable cross-promotion for you. And the other thing about it, too, is, I'll say my 2 cents on DDP Yoga. First of all, I haven't gotten into it fully yet, but what I've tested out on it, the thing about it that I like is I've got some major ADD. I mean, I'm all over the place. And we used to have yoga at my old work. They'd bring in this yoga lady, and I dread the days we do yoga, because for an hour or 2 hours, I mean, I wanted to go to bed the rest of the day. I was done, and I was sleepy and tired, not from, working my body so hard, which is not what your program does. It doesn't kill you. But what it did was it just put me to sleep because I was that bored and tired, and I just couldn't deal with it. I wasn't doing enough. But yours engages you that way while making you feel good, but without making you tired, ready to go to bed, and also not making you overly sore either. So for someone like me with extreme ADD, I mean, I could barely read a book, you know what I mean? That's the thing that I noticed just testing it out, basically.
I personally have done DDP yoga for about a year now, and number one, first and foremost, it got me to quit smoking cigarettes just so I would not cough and have a fit while doing it. So that was, I mean, thank you for that. Personally, thank you very much for that, because that's really changed me.
I don't know if he knows that there's two of us here. We're coming at you, Daryl.
I got that.
Coming at you double barrel here.
So yeah, I mean, that's not going to work for everyone, but me personally, I mean, I just enjoy doing it so much. I wanted to be able to do it better and to do it more often than once a week. So by quitting smoking cigarettes, I've been able to do that, and I couldn't be more pleased with the results.
That's amazing. Let's talk about the ADD for a minute now.
Yeah.
You talk about being able to barely read a book. I grew up with ADD and dyslexia at a time when no one knew what the hell ADD or dyslexia was.
Right.
I'm 50. I'll be 58. The night the night that Jake goes into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
So I mean, there couldn't be a better birthday present for me.
That's awesome.
And I could help Jake turn his whole life around, and that he would go from being the total outcast of the WWE.
Right.
And now being brought in the most cherished position, more cherished than the world title,
right.
Is being put in the Hall of Fame. And going back, Jake's 59, I'm 58. I grew up at a time where no one knew what ADD or dyslexia was. They just thought we were stupid. And I figured out how to get through school not being able to read, because I was I could talk, I could listen, I could interact. I cheated. Whatever it took to get me there, to get through and just get by. And then probably at about 30, I was still reading at about a third grade level. But I made the decision I was going to learn how to read proficiently. And I set a goal to read a book. I'm very big on goal setting, and I always have been. So now let's take the most daunting goal ever. I mean, I'm going to read a book. That's my goal. What kind of goal is that? Most people, it's no big deal to read a book. For me, it was overwhelming. So I had to set new goals for myself to read a page from that book every day. And by the end of that year, I'd read that book. So there's one down. And I started to work on it. I'd read everything, no matter how bad it. I would read out loud, because that's the thing that scared the hell out of me as a kid, because I couldn't read. So when it came around time for me to read after screwing up a couple times really badly and embarrassing the hell out of myself, I got in trouble every time before I ever got a teacher got to me to read out loud.
Right.
So no one ever knew. And in my 30s, I started to grab it a little bit. In my 40s, I started to get better. And then I went to the Eris Learning School, which is all kids and some adults that come in there who are really, goal-minded. And I worked with a woman who was 85 years old, and she was one of the greatest, her name is Ruth, and she was one of the greatest teachers, especially for this problem, attention deficit disorder and dyslexia. And she really helped me. In 6 months, she said, here's a guy who never took homework or did any homework ever unless he copied it or got someone to do it for him or whatever. Because when you can't read, you really can't write. You can't type, you can't spell, you can't do shit. So, long story short, my reading started to get so much better. I would say quickly, but over a period of time. But doing DDP yoga centered me. And you guys know there's no meditation in my workout. There's no humming and chanting. I got rid of all the spiritual mumbo jumbo.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I really respect that I got a lot of buddies of mine who are like top yogis. So I totally get what they do, but it's just not my thing.
Right.
So, but
Right.
for me, it's more about the ability in your mind to believe that you can. You know, and if you can't do it today, and yet, because that makes it possible. And don't work too hard. Step in, lower a knee. Don't kill yourself. I want you to get to the end of my workout. I want you to feel rejuvenated. I want you to feel like energized.
Right.
That's where I want you to be. So, long story short, it really helped me with my reading at a whole different level. If you guys saw me type today, you'd be like, dude, you're like a madman on that, because I can type. I learned with Mario's teaches typing, the Mario brothers,
Right.
but that kept my attention.
Yeah.
And over the years, like, people will see me, and I don't look at the keys. I know where all the keys are. I blow through it, and it's made my writing so much better too. And again, the workout centers me and pulls me down, because if you get in some of the really challenging positions, and everybody can always work up to that, you really got to focus.
Right. Exactly. And that's something that I can totally relate to, so I'm really interested in that part of it, because I've gone through that whole entire thing. And being injured and trying to come back from it and all that stuff. So all that stuff is why I like the program from what I sampled. Chris has told me about it. I got a couple questions here to get to, and some things I wanted to get into real quick. Your favorite, when you started watching wrestling going back, I mean, from what I understand, Superstar Billy Graham was who you first. Is that the first wrestler you really gravitated to? Because I think when I was a kid, my dad used to watch Billy Graham. He used to put me in a bear hug every Saturday. You know what I mean?
Well, Superstar was absolutely one of the first. Handsome Jimmy Valiant, one of the Valiant brothers,
Right?
Who had the long blonde hair, and he could talk, and I didn't know he was buzzing on the weed the whole time he was doing his promos. But Jimmy has become a good friend of mine. But at the time, he was my hero. Like, I want to be him. Superstar Bruno Sammartino was I was really young, and watching him, and he was amazing in the ring, because he was so believable, because he was real.
Yeah.
Today at 74, now 76, he's a stud still. And his body's been broken up over the years, but he still works out every day. And Superstar, I mean, I loved him, though. Superstar was like, ain't nobody was like Superstar. And then when you got him and Dusty together, if you could ever see any matches on YouTube of Dusty Rhodes and Superstar, not the matches, it's the lead-up.
Right.
The interviews. Both of those guys, I was fortunate enough to have Dusty Rhodes as my first mentor. And, I always tell everybody, without Dusty Rhodes, there is no Diamond Dallas Page. Without Jake the Snake Roberts, there's no Diamond Dallas Page, 3-time world champion main eventer. So it was two of them. I was lucky. I had two amazing mentors. But one day when after I retired from WWE, about 2 years later, I came back and said, I want to see if I can still go in that ring and still move the way I used to. 48, 49 years old. And one of the shows that I did, Superstar was actually Dusty was on the card with me. And Superstar drove up from Phoenix to Tucson to meet me. He wanted to meet me because he loved my stuff. And that was the greatest, compliment ever. But he also wanted to, see Dusty too. And if I could have had a tape recorder there of those two son of bitches talking shit and talking about how they both ripped Bob Dylan shit off left and right. And how, they were just those guys lived the dream at a different level at a time when, it was a different game, man.
Yeah.
And they just had so much fun. It was crazy.
You must have had fun with the thinking back. I didn't even think about this. How about what was it like when you were? Because did you manage the Freebirds for what was it? Maybe about a year or so.
About a half a year. Yeah,
I remember it wasn't a long time, but what was that like?
Michael PSA is one of the first guys to really take me under his wing,
right.
Like Dusty did. And like when I first met him, when I was with the AWA as a manager, I ended up in the car with him. We were driving like 4 hours to the next town or whatever. And he and I just clicked. And I didn't realize how much we were alike. And Michael's like 5 years younger, 6 years younger than me too.
Wow.
but he'd been wrestling since he was 15, so his body was really beat up, and we drank a lot. Michael really drank a lot. So, that'll beat your body up over a period of time. But I got to manage him and Jimmy Jam Garvin as new Freebirds, and I'll never forget Michael when I first came into WCW. He told Jimmy, he's like, DDP's got some chops. We're gonna start our first interview with our backs to the cameras. He's gonna walk out between us and talk his shit.
Right.
And two of the best talkers in the '80s with top 10, definitely Jimmy Jam Garvin and Michael P.S. Hayes.
Yeah.
And they're letting me talk for them. So it was really cool. And those son of bitches would really be so bad on the road, because Jimmy always had the shotgun spot. Michael was driving. I'd stick my leg out because my knee was bothering me up between the seats, and freaking Jimmy take a lighter and just light my foot on fire. Shit like that.
That's great. Something I was watching, fast forwarding a little bit, I was watching some WCW matches, and it sparked a memory from middle school. I think I was in ninth, maybe 8th grade when it happened, I think. I remember I was watching, because I've been watching wrestling since I was like 4, but I'm watching, and it was the match with you and Macho Man, with Randy Savage, and Hulk Hogan comes out where he was dressed as Sting, I remember, and he hit you with the bat.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, I remember I was watching this match, and I was really excited because I thought the match was going well. It was such a good match in my mind. I don't know why, I was really into it. I just remember being so good, and then it ended like that, and I just remember I was like, no, I was losing my mind watching that one.
He hit me so hard with that bat. It wasn't a bat. It was a gimmick bat.
But it's still, he waffled you.
No, dude, it felt like a bat.
Right. You can tell by the way.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad.
And now each in the heart too. It looked, like right around the heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Fuck, some bitch could have killed me.
And I just remember.
I'll tell you those stories. In that feud before that,
right?
We were getting ready for Savage had come up the top rope.
Yeah.
And you can't do that top rope to the floor shit in your mid-40s. And I was 41. He was 44.
Yeah.
And, my career's just rocketing. I've just turned 41. And actually, I'm not sure I think it was the day before Spring Stampede when I beat Savage that first time. The day before my birthday.
Yeah.
And now, that was in 97.
Right.
So now we're in 2014. How many years is that later? That's 17 years later, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Now, Jake's being inducted on my birthday.
You're right.
That's so awesome.
Man.
You know what?
Birthday present.
I couldn't believe it. I've been following Jake for a while too, obviously. And he's always been one of the biggest guys to me, the most interesting people. And I will tell you what, we were hoping he'd come back for the Rumble. We were talking about that. Maybe he can do that. Hopefully he can do that. I wonder. And when he came out on Raw that night, I turned around because we go live after Raw to talk about Raw, and I'm setting up everything. I'm like, Raw is over. I'm getting ready for the credits to come up. No idea, no tease, nothing. And I just heard that music, man. I'll tell you what, I have not had tears in my eyes for many things. But that was some kind of moment. I was fired up.
Tell you what, it blew a lot of people's minds because, he was the outcast.
Right.
I asked him afterwards, I said, I need a quote for Twitter, for TMZ.
Yeah.
And he said, the prodigal son returns.
That's perfect.
And very grateful for the forgiveness that has, come to him. And, inside stuff behind the scenes, last year I wanted to bring Jake to the Hall of Fame because he'd already, he's looking great. He already gone through a lot of the transformation in the beginning pretty quickly. And
right.
I called up and I said, hey, guys, because I have an open invitation to do whatever I want to do in the WWE because I left under awesome terms. And it was not my finest hour, obviously being there, but it's all how you leave someplace, no matter what, the way that everything went down, the history was going to be written by the winners. You know, Paul Revere, you know, and the guy Benedict Arnold. If they win, Benedict Arnold is the man, and Paul Revere is the jabroni.
Right.
You know, it's all who wins the war. And the WWE didn't really like win the war where they put WCW out of business. That was a guy who came in named Jamie Kellner.
Stole it.
And
Yeah.
He was the head of programming for Warner Brothers, and they
Right.
just canceled wrestling. Even though we were doing a 3.8 to a 4.2. And I don't really think that we ever would have got back above WWE again,
Right.
because they, you know, Austin was so into the, you know, the whole, you know, Attitude Era and all that. And then, of course, there was also The Rock, who came right behind that, you know.
Right.
So they really had some really big, you know, 1-2s right at that. So I don't think we ever would have got in front of them. But if Turner still owned that company, there'd still be a WCW.
Yeah.
You know, but that, you know, that's not what happened. Again, so history was written by the winners, and we almost put them out of business, like big time at one point. So Vince really needed his comeback.
Right.
And I was the poor unfortunate jabroni that was going to have to face that. You know, and what it taught me, you know, a lot of guys will dwell on negatives. Like, God, for so many years, people would say, DDP, what do you think about your Vince trying to ruin your career? I'm like, what? Right. Vince didn't ruin my career. Dude, let me ask you a question. Michael Jordan, who did he play for? The Wizards or the Bulls?
The Bulls.
Bulls.
No one ever thinks with,
right,
yeah.
Michael, you know?
Right.
The reason why WCW remembers my Hugh Taker, because it was so lame, you know, we just didn't jive. You know, it didn't work out the way I wanted to, and they wanted to show, boom, look at this is, you know, WCW can't hang with WWF.
Right.
So it was what it was.
They did the same to the ECW wrestlers too.
Yeah, they came.
Same thing, you know. And you know, the thing with I got to leave doing a WrestleMania and having a hell of a match with Christian.
Yep.
So right after that, I hurt my neck really bad, and I could have become a quadriplegic, the bump the way I took it and stuff. So I had to reassess my, you know, what do I want out of life? And I knew, you know, at the time, DDP yoga was in my mind, was yoga for regular guys. That's where it all started, YRG. And so I knew that it was more important for me to be able to stand on one leg and stick my foot over my head and stand there and talk to you, which blows everyone away every time they see it.
Right.
Because I could do it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's more important for me to hold my foot over my head and show strength and flexibility than to stick my foot up somebody's ass.
Right.
You know? I mean, I lived the dream on such a level. And they offered me a really, you know, Kevin Dunn was a really cool cat. And he's the guy he's really, really the main producer. You know, he's a director. He's all that, you know, for WWE. And he really wanted me to be, because he heard my color, he wanted to be the next Jesse Ventura.
Yeah,
But
I could see it.
I just was, it was time for me to make a change and live a different life. And I went up to Hollywood and did the whole acting thing for quite a while. And I still got a bunch of stuff that's about to come out. And I work doing.
Hey, you worked with
acting whenever I can.
You worked with Rob Zombie, right? Were you in? It was Devil's Rejects, right?
Yeah. That was a huge role. And
Right.
again, it comes through DDP yoga. I meet Rob buying Christmas trees. No lie, buying Christmas trees in Hollywood. He's buying this 13-foot tree. He's got like 20-foot fields in his house. He's got this huge white polar bear upright, like 12 feet in the air. I mean, he's got zombie shit all over. He's got coffins. It's really a unique place.
That's awesome.
And he's a very unique cat and a very cool guy. But we just jived. Next thing you know, we were trading numbers, and we went out to dinner at some point. And he was like, "Dude, you must like live in the gym." I go, "Dude, I ain't been in the gym in probably about a year and a half." He's like, "What? How do you look like that?" I said, "Well, I do this workout." And he goes, working. He goes, what are you doing? I go, "Well, I call it YRG. It's, you know, the predecessor, you know, to DDP yoga." And he goes, "YRG." He goes, "What's it stand for?" I said, "Well, it's sort of like yoga for regular guys." He goes, "You do yoga?" And I was like, yes and no. You really sort of got to, you know, see it. You know, we lived at that time a mile from each other.
Right.
Maybe 3/4 of a mile, and over in the old, it's in the old Hollywood area. It's called Rossmore. Is the area where all that. It's like it's the original. It was the original Beverly Hills before it moved to a different section. And a lot of the really cool old mansions and stuff. And he had one of those that he had redone. And I was living in this penthouse up in that area, and I said, dude, I'm writing a book about it right now. I said, if you want, I'll freaking come over and work out with you a couple of days a week. He goes, you do that? I go, yeah, buddy price. I ain't charging you enough. And I said, let's just, hang out and work out and, show you what I'm doing. And I worked out with him. After about 4 or 5 weeks, one day we got done, and he goes, hey, D, by the way, I wrote your part in Devil's Rejects. I was like, no shit. He was like, yeah, just go over and meet the cast and shit. You ain't got to audition or anything. He goes, I said, let me see. You auditioning for a tough guy. Okay, you got the part.
Right. I would kill to see probably to see DDP and Rob Zombie doing DDP yoga. That's awesome. That's really cool.
I'll tell you what, dude. He wrote the forward. You can get the book.
Right.
Yoga for regular guys, yoga babes included. It's smoking hot women and regular dudes, because that's how I originally positioned it. But so many women ended up loving the workout.
Yeah.
And to back off on that part of the TNA.
Right.
But Rob actually wrote the forward to that book, and it starts out yoga. Give me a effing break. And, he busts chops on some of the parts of yoga, but then he puts over my program huge. So, what better can you have than freaking Rob Zombie?
Yeah.
Guys like him and Jericho and Ryback and Dustin, Dustin Rhodes, Goldust out there. You see the way Goldust is moving right now at 44?
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
He's unbelievable watching him on some of his matches on Raw that he's been having. He looks like he's
blowing my mind how agile he is after all these years.
And again, he's been doing DDP for over 2.5 years. He came to my retreat last year. Didn't tell anybody. I said, D, if you want to come, dude, I said, I'll hook you up. Whatever it costs me, it costs you. I don't want anything from me. He goes, man, I would love to come. So him and his girlfriend came. We had a great time. But people are like, oh, my God, Dustin Rhodes is here.
Right.
Who knows who's going to show up at this retreat?
Right.
And there's a lot of the boys doing it now. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But it was just it was special having him there. And it really helped his body, obviously, come back. And then you look at guys like Jericho. Jericho's the guy who really helped me put it on the map.
Yeah.
Because Jericho... his back was blown out just like mine. Like, just to give you the cliff notes, you guys know this, but some of your listeners may not know. I'm a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga the first 42 years of my life. I started wrestling when I was 35. My career took off when I was 40. That was in 96. 97 and 98, I was on top of the world. And then, boom, I blew out my back. 3 specialists said, you're never wrestling again. I just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal. And you're telling me I'm done? So, I'd try anything. And, Kimberly was the one. I was like, you got to try it. In the beginning, I got to tell you, she said to me, you got to try yoga. You can heal your body. My comeback was, fuck that. I wouldn't be caught dead. I wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. But she bullied me into it. I was glad she did. And after about 3 weeks, I felt a significant difference. And then at night, cause I'm still doing rehab. I've rehabbed both knees from surgeries. I rehabbed both shoulders from surgeries. So I'm still doing the rehab, for my back. So I start adding the yoga positions with the rehab positions. And then I added in the old school calisthenics and the dynamic resistance. And next thing you know, 3 months later, I'm back in the ring. At 42, they say my career's over. At 43, I'm heavyweight champ of the world. Now, all the boys, they all saw it, and they still laughed at me. Oh, he's doing his yoga, blah, blah, blah. They all laughed at me. And then Jericho freaking blew his back out about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. And I had the video of that disabled veteran that I helped. And you guys seen that video.
Arthur, that's an impressive video. That's one of the most inspiring videos I've seen on the internet, like in general, ever.
And over 10 million views now. But back then, it was not. There was hardly any views on it. It's like 3.5 years, maybe 3 years, close to 3 years ago. And Chris, I heard he was in a lot of pain because I just finished the very best of Nitro 1 and come on to the WWE to promote it, and Shawn Michaels pulled me aside. And actually, Shawn's the first guy to ever do my program. First guy.
Wow.
And it happened because of a mutual friend of ours. He saw what I was doing and how much it helped me, and he saw how many other people I was helping. He said, let me send this to Shawn. Now, I'm talking about the shit I filmed in the backyard.
Right.
This wasn't a professional video. I sent him stuff I filmed in the backyard from my workouts I was doing. So I said to him, and he started doing it, bringing it as part of his program. And then he did the next YRG workouts. And I didn't even know when we were talking. I go, so what do you think of the new stuff? He goes, I haven't gotten it yet. I go, what do you mean you haven't gotten it yet? Rich didn't send it to you? I said, dude, here, I went and got it for him. And he's the one who said, you need to talk to Jericho. He's hurting right now. So, we ended up getting on the phone. I said, Chris, I don't want to sell you on anything. Here's what I want to do. We'll send you a video. If you're not impressed and you don't think it's any good, you see what it helps that guy, then no big deal. He called me as soon as he finished watching that video. He said, D, you send me your program. You tell me what to do. I'll do whatever you say.
Right.
And
that's awesome.
And Chris Jericho and I were friends from wrestling together.
Yeah.
But we weren't like close buddies. But we were buds. We were buds. We could hang out or go on a road trip together or something. But we've become much closer since then because literally, when he came by my house to work out with me after 5 weeks, he told me he was 85% pain-free and addicted to it.
Wow.
And he said, we went and filmed. We filmed over at the park. He's like, it's funny because we're walking over there. So he goes, so when you do your workouts, do you do like, strength builder one day and then stand up the next day and blah, blah, blah. I go, Chris, it's just like a match to me. I said, I wish I could call it in the ring as good as I can call this shit.
Yep.
I said, I never do the same workout twice. I don't think I've ever done the same workout twice.
Right, which is good.
In 13 years.
Right.
Because I'm always working around the ability of whoever I'm working with. So we're in the process of building an app right now. And I'll tell you right now, DDP Yoga will be the Netflix of fitness. And everything is going to go to the app eventually.
Okay.
Because, you guys remember there was records, then 8-tracks took over records, then cassettes took over 8-tracks, then MP3s took over cassettes, cassettes,
CDs,
and then CDs took over that, then MP3s took over CDs, and then the iPod took over all that. Now the only thing left is the DVD. And the DVD is only going to last a couple of more years.
Right.
And then everybody who's got an app now that they've got the HDMI hookup to the television, well, boom.
Yeah.
They got whatever on their computer on their friggin' TV.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what we're doing along that line. And the workouts that I'm selling now is a package. This is getting like 6 or 7 months down the line. We might release it next year. Probably at the end of this year. But you can get the package right now. It's normally $119.95 for $99.99. As far as the investment you put into the DDP package, the Max Pack, which has got 15 workouts, the program guide. You guys know it's got the poster. It's got all that really cool stuff, and keeps you motivated on how to eat, what to eat, how to set goals. Well, imagine that. Now add another 30 workouts to that. Now add cooking videos. Now add freaking live streaming TV of in the kitchen cooking.
Right.
So it's like, this is how I did it piece by piece. And then you'll have the edited version you can watch later if you're just looking for that. Or you can do workouts with me. And that's going to be anywhere from 8 to 12 workouts every month that will be live. And they'll be live at different times so that the East Coast has got an early morning workout. The West Coast has got an early morning workout. UK's got an early morning workout. So
that's cool.
wherever that time is, it'll all be different across the border. Because it might be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it might be 7 o'clock in UK.
Right.
Wherever it works out like that. So it'll be different times. And because we are social media mega cats. We run everything through media. That's why we're a multi-million-dollar company. And what we do is it'll be like DDP going live in 2 hours if you got the app. Now, the app, the original app, which will have a bunch of stuff on it, that will be probably for free. But the other one will be a subscription. So that's how you'll end up getting it.
Right.
And it's going to be amazing.
That's what people want.
Mind-blowing.
They want interactive. You want to be able to be like, this is cool. DDP's going live. I'm ready to go too. I'm jumping on. That's
especially
really
people who have phobias of the gym, or they get embarrassed at the gym and they're like, I want something I can do by myself in my home.
Right, but they're engaging with DDP when he's live too, so when they're in the living room, that's cool.
Right.
I know DDPyoga.com, which is great. What's up with the DDP challenge stuff? Are you still doing that? I heard something about that months back.
Yes, we're still doing that. We've got so many things going.
Right.
It was just too much stuff to add to it to really be a focal point because we have so many things going.
Right.
But, we've given out a total so far of $10,000. We have another $15,000 we're giving out. We're looking for people with the most inspiring blogs. Now, a blog today could be written, it could be video, it could be pictures, but the people who win our contest, they got it all. They've got written copy, they've got videos to inspire you. Some of it's for weight loss, others, a little bit of weight loss, but it's more about what takes you and makes you like get on the mat every day. And sometimes the hardest thing is getting on the mat. And it's so funny because, I always follow that up with, there's never been a day I've got off the mat and go, boy, I wish I didn't do that.
Right.
It just doesn't exist. But I'll tell you what, being the egomaniac that I was going in and out of the gym and lifting weights, there's 15% of the time I went, why did I do that? That was so stupid.
Right.
It's a great comparison.
No, it is. It's very cool. Everything you're doing is wonderful. I think if somehow you haven't heard of it yet, you got to go check it out. Of course, DDPyoga.com. A couple little things real quick, and then we got to let DDP go. I know he's real busy. He's got to get to a whole bunch of stuff. I want to ask you real quick about your time in TNA. We actually talked to Cronin earlier about TNA a couple days ago. What was it like when you were in TNA for that brief period? How was it over there compared to maybe WWE, WCW?
The reason why I liked it, it's because I didn't have the run, that I really wanted to go out on in the WWE, and I wanted to show people. I was 49 then, and in 2005, and I wanted to show people, 48, 49. I was there for about a year, but I also only had to do limited dates. I only had to do TVs and a couple of pay-per-views and some road shows, just a few. So there was no real wear and tear on my body. But I wanted people to see, look at this son of a bitch go again. And he's 49.
Right.
Again, it adds, credibility, like with Chris Jericho when he blew his back out. And then when he came back, in 3 months with DDP Yoga, he had zero pain. Today, it's almost 2.5 years later now, he has zero pain. And he's still, you see that crazy bump he does where he jumps up, grabs the guy, drives the guy to the mat, falling on his back, on his L4.
Oh, the code breaker, yeah.
Yeah, like, Chris, what are you doing? Don't kill that move.
Yeah, when you know the backstory, it's a whole different thing to watch a guy like that. You cringe. I'll never forget watching Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14, just knowing he was injured, just cringing the whole match. I was 14 years old because I'm the age of basically when WrestleMania goes, I go. And I remember just thinking, Jesus, he's hurt. Oh, man. But being entertained.
And that's what it's about, as far as, being able to show what you come back. Chris come back and then headline WrestleMania with Punk. And they even pulled the DDP Yoga line into it.
Oh, that was great.
Punk said, Jericho's doing DDP Yoga. It's not even real yoga. I was like, yes! That was strong. But, it really helped Chris's singing too, because he couldn't, his back was blind. He couldn't hit those high notes he wanted to hit and stuff that he does.
Yeah.
So, it really completed him all the way through. And he used the words, DDP Yoga changed my life. And then he started telling everybody about it.
Right.
That's why we've got like 20 guys in the WWE do it. All the guys down at the WWE Performance Center, the young guys coming up, they all do it, and the girls. I went down, there was 68 of them, and got them all doing it. They, amazing response back from them. And, it's sustainable. The biggest thing for Chris, for me, for proving that DDP yoga is really cardio-driven and can keep you in amazing shape, literally standing still and building, your dynamic strength, and you're increasing your flexibility dramatically. Chris took off 6 months and went touring with Fozzy.
Right.
No anything but DDP yoga. It's the only workout that he does. He tells everybody that. Then he showed up at the Rumble, not this year, but the year before, at the number 2 spot and wrestled 47 minutes and 53 seconds.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time,
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, for him to come through with that, it's funny. At the time, I didn't know about that. I think it was not till even a few months back that I went back and realized, Jericho was the guy who started it all. I didn't know that. To be honest, I really didn't. Real quick, not to bring the show down or anything, but with Big Daddy V's passing recently, do you have any, stories about him? Did you ever, run it?
I never really got to know him.
Right.
But when I did, I met him. He was really nice, real respectful, good guy, to me. But I didn't really know him. I knew his partner a little bit better. Back when they were partners, tag teams in the WWE.
Oh, when he was in Men on a Mission with Mo?
Yeah, Mo, yep, because Mo had a little bit of a problem with something to do with his kidneys or something. He was asking me how to try to raise money on the internet for his stuff, because, what I helped with Scott and Jake. And the last thing I want to get into was raising money for charity.
Right.
That's not what I'm about. I just want to help my guys out that really helped me.
Right.
So I gave them a lot of advice. I didn't hear from him after how it went for him. But, what I heard about he is that he lost a lot of weight.
Really?
He really started getting, dropping. But your body, when it carries all that weight for all those years, just so you understand, when you're carrying all that fat on the top of your body, it seeps in. All of the fat seeps into all of your organs.
Ooh.
And that's why people have such problems.
Right.
And when they lose the weight, they don't just lose it out of their organs right away. It takes about 2 years.
Yeah.
Now that they stay healthy and they keep the weight off, boom, then they really start to see the effects. But again, V-Boy, he carried a lot of weight, man.
For sure.
So, how old was he when he passed? He's 41 or something?
43. Yeah, 43, yeah.
43, yeah. So, you don't see, that's young. That's still young, so young. But you really don't see, 400 or 500 pound people in their 60s.
Right. Right. We were talking about that.
Because they passed way before that.
Well, that's why I was looking to the future and saying it's so important for someone to say, like, I believe Paul White, Big Show just said he's done at some point, probably when his contract expires in the next 4 years. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Actually, I got an infection myself. I couldn't talk yesterday, so I'm surprised I'm able to do this. But you see him? Has he ever come to you and said anything about DDP yoga? How would you handle someone of that size?
We've already talked about it.
Right.
Paul doesn't have the best work ethic. I'll tell you. And he's not really good at following DVDs. So what I proposed to him, and it's got to be on him, I'm not going to call him. I said, you call me. My schedule is insane. But I would go on the road with Paul, the Big Show. Because we were road buddies. He's my first real road buddy that, we were like thick as thieves for years. I raised him in the WCW.
Right.
I got him ready for Hogan's match.
That's awesome.
So that was my deal. I was down the power plant trying to, they wouldn't use me back then.
Right.
I started at 35. I told my road haircut at 36. They let me go, and I got my job back. Bischoff gave me my job back. We were buddies, but he wasn't going to help me get no spot, because he wasn't going to put his name on the line because I was still green as grass.
Yeah.
And so I figured no one's going to give me any kind of a break here, so I went back down to power plant, and I started to train the young guys, and Paul White was one of them.
Yeah.
And it was a great. I had a great time with that guy, man. He's still one of my good buddies, and I would actually go on the road with him for a week and show him things to do. Again, he doesn't have a lot of discipline, and at times he can, but to really be successful with your health, especially when you're a big guy. And Paulie's 42 or 43 now, and he's been beating himself up for 20 years.
Right.
And he's a legitimate 7'1".
Yeah, I mean, he's someone.
I'm sure he's under 7 foot right now.
Yeah.
When it's because your body just shrinks, and the pounding that his body is taking, just brutal. I'm just blown away that he can still do what he can do.
I know. When he had that spot with a couple weeks on Raw, I mean, I was clapping my hands. Like, I couldn't believe he pulled some of that out. I just hope he's okay. And after wrestling, you'll find out. You know what I mean? When you stop doing a whole lot of that stuff, maybe you'll hear from him. Speaking of a couple weeks ago, are you watching? I mean, you don't have a lot of time to do much outside of this, everything you're doing. But do you ever stop and watch? Do you watch Raw here or there?
I will watch. One of my favorite moments was a few weeks back.
Yep.
When the world got to see how over friggin' Daniel Bryan is.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing he did with Ray Wyatt and that kid. Yep. I love that kid.
Right.
From what I understand, and I haven't talked to Daniel yet, but from what I understand, he was legitimately didn't even remember anything after the suplex, and and I've been there where you're moving on instinct because you don't remember anything because you've been knocked out.
Right.
Yeah, I've probably been knocked out 20 times, and I've knocked at least 20 guys out.
Wow.
It's just part of what happens sometimes. That tornado clothesline.
Yeah.
I come through that, man. If you don't take your own bump, you're screwed.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like, get out of the way. I'm coming.
Hope it hits you in the sternum, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hope just freaking take your own bump, because if you don't, get out of there fast. But Bray, I don't know if he knew Daniel was out of it or whatever, but he did what we call the Shakespeare in the middle of the ring while Daniel was just looking at him with that look, and the build-up that they built up out there to his big-ass comeback, and then doing the slow yes.
Right.
And the whole crowd waiting for him.
Yep.
Yes. And then climbed to the top and did it again, and you could see it there. That's as over as my brother Stone Cold Steve Austin or me or Hulk or anybody's ever been. I think more. I think more, because that was real, and you could really see it. Like that, watching that, I was like, God bless that kid, because he's such a great guy. Daniel Bryan.
What did you think about him at the Rumble then? I want to say, a lot of people keep talking about podcast guys, whatever, blog guys. A couple guys I know, that do this, and a couple radio shows that I know. A lot of guys upset actually at the fans, saying that they're hijacking the shows now because they're cheering for Daniel Bryan. Like at the Rumble when Ray got booed coming out. I mean, poor Ray, whoever number 30 was getting booed.
Yeah.
I mean,
what a buzzkill that must have been.
Right. I mean,
because Ray's one of the great legends of our game.
Right.
Big time. And then, but another guy that I sure as hell would want to be in his body.
Right.
Later on, he's just done so much amazing. I got to tell you a little side story. I get caught it on Best of Metro 2, but the year I was a rookie and I was 36, I got edged out of PWI Rookie of the Year by Eric Watts because his dad came in, the booker, and gave him this crazy push October, November, December. It was just crazy. He's beat Arn Anderson. He's beaten everybody, and got him so much heat. For me, I love him. He's a brother of mine, but he edged me out of that PWI Rookie of the Year. And I thought, you know what, though? Meltzer has got to give it to me. He has got to give me the Rookie of the Year spot. So I get this kayfabe sheet. I'm thinking, like, I'm going to be Rookie of the Year. And because it was a shoot, you know.
Right.
Rookie of the Year, so like, pretty much, especially with Meltzer, you got to give it to who you think deserves it. And I see Rey Mysterio. I'm like, who the fuck is Rey Mysterio? I was 36. He was 14. Now,
right.
I don't find out who he is for about 4 years. And then he shows up in WCW and went back when he was doing the insano,
right.
crazy stuff that he could do. And I watched his first match and I went, I guess I was number 2.
Well, it's always scary too when you leave all your, you know what I mean, all that's left is Meltzer. You know what I mean? When that's all you got left to rely on, you're in trouble probably. But
you know, the bottom line is at least you knew some of the people he had that were just his buddies, and he took care of a lot. But he respected them big. I wouldn't say his buddies, guys he really was a big fan of. But yeah, he pretty much called the shit the way it was. He was never trying to be mean. You know?
Right.
So.
No, yeah, he was cool.
How
about
cool.
what was I gonna ask you about? Somebody, yeah, I've got someone. One of our listeners is gonna be starting DDP Yoga. As we'll close with this basically, I guess, and we'll let you get on your world tour that you're on right now. Now you're going across the seas soon, right? You're going to the UK and Ireland. Is that really happening soon?
Yep. Yes, I'm actually going to be in the UK. I will be there. Let me just pull it up there. I'll be there March 1st, and I'm actually have a DDP Yoga workshop on March 1st. And I'm doing that in London. And then I have, let me pull them up here. And then I have, the second I have Eros Comedy. The guys from over there, they're awesome guys, Billy and Chris. And they put together a tour for me. And the second I will be in London. The third I'll be in Cardiff. I'll be in Birmingham on the 4th, Manchester on the 5th, Newcastle on the 6th. Then I'm off the 7th. On the 8th, I will be back in Manchester for a DDP Yoga workshop. All this is on DDPyoga.com. As soon as I'm done with that workshop, I'll hop on a plane and fly to Belfast, and I'll be at Belfast at the Empire on the 9th, and then I'm on Cork, C-O-R-K, in Ireland on the 10th, and then I fly back home, and then I want to be at WrestleMania down there, of course, for Jake's induction, but also I'm doing 2 DDP Yoga workshops there.
Wow.
One on April 4th, the night of, I think it's like maybe it's 5 to 8 or 8 to 10. I can't remember. It's all on the sheet there.
Right.
But on the 5th, which is my birthday, you know, I'm doing it again in the morning. Before the Hall of Fame deal. I think it's like late morning, early afternoon, and that's going to be a hell of a deal. And what I do is, you know, I bring the world title with me. I got at a workshop. What you're going to do is you're going to hear me talk about where DDP Yoga came from, how it came to be. I get it really big time into breathing, dynamic resistance, how to eat, how to really fine-tune the Diamond Dozen, and then we do a workout. It's about a 3-hour period. So it ends up with everybody taking pictures and all that kind of stuff. So anybody who's at WrestleMania or over in the UK, you know, it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wish I was over there, actually, but hopefully you'll come around our neck of the woods soon. I know you were in New Hampshire not that long ago, so we're in Boston, so maybe at some point you'll be out here. We'll come say hi.
Well, next time I'm up in that area, because I will definitely do something to get in Dover. I had a really good turnout there. People came from all over, so you boys better be back down, and now you know you're doing a deal.
Right.
So,
well,
all right, boys,
we'll let you go, DDP. Thank you.
Well, again, anybody who wants to know what I'm doing with DDP Yoga, go to Facebook, DDP YOGA, read what people write, or go to Twitter, @RealDDP or @DDP Yoga. And after you've seen all that, go to DDPyoga.com and get yourself some DDP Yoga or else. Bang!
Thanks, DDP.
Awesome.
Have a good rest of the day, man. Get going. You got a heck of a tour ahead of you, I suppose.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Have a great night, guys.
All right. Take it easy. All right. That was Diamond Dallas Page, none other than Diamond Dallas Page, DDP. He's pumped up. He's got a lot of stuff to do, man. He's getting me going. I want to just start doing it now. Ridiculous.